My name's Aspen Godette here with Pelham High School Productions, and today I am joined with City Councilman Mr. Rick Walsh and Mr. Chad Leverett, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the parade and how they're the brains behind the parade. So first off, can you all go ahead and just give me a little bit about yourself?
Chad, go ahead.
So, Chad Leverett, I've been married for 21 years, have a son, Will, who's 8 years old, and I've lived in Pelham for roughly 15 years. And I ran against this guy right here in the city council race in 2020, and he's become my best friend. And through that, we've been able to start a nonprofit, Pelham Strong, and do several community events, and we've got some others in the works. And we're excited about this Christmas parade coming up.
And I'm Rick Walsh. I grew up here in Pelham. Am a graduate from Pelham High School, and go Panthers. And have lived here most of my life. Raised my family here. Love Pelham. It is definitely my home, and have had the honor for the last couple of years to serve on Pelham City Council. And as Chad said, you know, we started Pelham Strong as a nonprofit to really promote our community.
Yeah, so we appreciate all that y'all have done for the Pelham community. Can you touch just a little bit further on what Pelham Strong is and how you're implementing that with the parade?
Sure, I'll take that. Pelham Strong's a nonprofit that Chad and I, one of the things when he and I were running together, we were talking about one of the biggest needs that we had in the area where, you know, in one of our candid conversations one day I was telling him, I said, you know, I grew up here, and when I grew up here, you knew who your neighbors were. And you knew the people down the street, and you knew who you rode the bus with. And when you came to Pelham High School, I knew just about everybody that went to school with me. And I said, over time, what has ended up happening in our day and time is we've lost touch with our community. And so we took that idea and said, you know, we need to do things that are a lot more community-minded, that help to unite and bridge that gap. And so when we did Pelham Strong, just for that, to give us the platform to involve both businesses, our city government, our schools, and our community. And, you know, because if you have all four of those together, then you have a strong community. If you don't, then you're in trouble. And so we saw where Pelham, you know, and a lot of it's just by the growth and by the way that the city is over time had just fragmented. And so we wanted to do something that really brought it back together and really brought the focus back in on our community.
Gotcha.
And Aspen, just to add to that, Pelham Strong is going to get so much bigger. We've got an event coming on March 11th called Walk for Christ, and we're going to launch that after this Christmas event. But we're also talking about doing scholarships for the high school, for high school graduating students. We're looking at doing a bike rodeo. And there's several instances where we're able to help people in the community that may be struggling. For instance, we're doing a toy drive this year, and we've identified already 20 children in Pelham that will benefit from this toy drive personally. So Pelham Strong is all about Pelham, all about community, bringing everybody together, and Pelham helping Pelham.
Love that. It's really nice to have people in our community here that want to support us and bring our community together. But narrowing in on this Christmas parade that we have upcoming this Saturday, what did you see in it last year, which was the first year? What did you see in that you want to bring back this year, or what spark in the Pelham community did it bring for you?
So Rick and I had a vision to bring a Christmas event to this city. He told me that since it was founded in 1964 that it had never had a Christmas event. And Christ is at the center of Pelham Strong, and Christmas is about the birth of Christ. So we wanted to try and implement a Christmas parade. We had buy-in from the city government, the city staff, the schools, all four schools were involved. And last year it was just, let's just see if we could get a couple hundred people to show up. Well, it ended up being a couple thousand. Estimates are 7,000 to 10,000 people. So we were really overwhelmed. We had someone on our advisory board when we asked, you know, what last year meant to them when we were looking at it back in January, and she used one word to describe it, and she said it was magical. When you came around 119 off of 31, if you guys were there or any of you saw it, and you saw the people stacked up 5, 10 rows deep, the smiles on people's faces, and you had an opportunity for 2 hours to just not worry about bills, not worry about troubles, and you actually, as an adult, got to enjoy sort of being a kid again. it was just overwhelming. So
Sure. And, you know, in the parade, who doesn't love a parade? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I love when the high school, for years and years, when I was young, we had a homecoming parade. And you guys started that back several years ago. And man, I'll tell you, I smiled ear to ear because everybody loves a parade. You know, if they're throwing candy and everybody's cheering. And so it brings goodwill to people. And so when we started talking about doing something nice at Christmas time that was community minded, we said, what's a better way to do that than for us to do a parade? Well, I will be honest with you, there had been organizations in the past that had attempted to organize a parade in Pelham around the Christmas holiday season, but had never been successful. And so with us, being able to approach it the way we did, we were able to, number one, get the city government on board. You know, Pelham, the city of Pelham, to take on a task like this is a monumental operation. You know, I'll give you a great example. This Saturday for the Christmas parade, we estimate they'll have between 100 and 150 employees working this event. And so it'll take over 50 police officers to work this event. And so all of that is the contribution that the city does. Not only that, not to mention the setting up, taking down, putting up barricades. I mean, you can imagine the logistics of it. And so the other issue that we had was that couldn't get the businesses in the city involved. And so we went out and really started canvassing our resources in the city and looking at businesses. And I'll be honest with you, Aspen, the outcry has been tremendous. You know, it's not been a sell for us. It's been people coming out of the woodwork like, what can I do?
Yeah.
You know, how can we be involved?
That's awesome.
And you know, and last year I told Chad, I said, you know, this first year, it's a make or break year. Either we're going to pull this off and it's going to be something that's great and wonderful, or it's going to be a flop. And so thank goodness it was great and wonderful.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and you know, the downside to that is, and the mayor, Gary Waters here in Pelham, told Chad and I after that was over with, he said, the sad thing about this, you've got yourself into something you can never get out of, because everybody's going to expect it for every year to come. And so, you know, and so with that being the challenge, we have really tried to rise to that occasion and make it bigger and better and nicer this year than even it was last year.
Yeah, well, speaking of magical, it really was magical. Y'all are the ones that have to bring all the magic into it. What do the behind the scenes look like that, I mean, we as people in the community don't always see?
So to start off with, to piggyback first about the businesses, we have a huge support from sponsorships. We had 31 sponsors this year for this event, and 3M Carts and Mowers with Exmark came on board as the presenting sponsor, and we had AmFirst Federal Credit Union, River Chase Kia, and several others that came on as major sponsors. But when we were at the mandatory float meeting, we asked for a show of hands of who was a sponsored business that was participating in the parade, and we had 10 out of the 55. That shows the support of the businesses. And then you guys within the school system and youth sports, I think, account for roughly 15 of that. And all 4 of the schools are represented in this. But the logistics behind the scene, it's a monumental undertaking. But as it goes forward year after year, it will become easier because the planning and preparation will already have been set in place. So I would estimate that you're looking at thousands of hours between the advisory board and Rick and myself and Melissa, my wife. And so it's a huge undertaking. If you can imagine trying to coordinate 10,000 people, where to go, what they're going to do, what they're going to want to do, it's a huge undertaking. And then in the park and then the police department and the logistics behind that. So it is a big undertaking. But it's one that Rick and I took on because we're passionate about the community and we're passionate about bringing the community together. And I can tell you all year long, all we hear about from businesses when we go in is, what's the theme going to be this year? How many floats are we going to have? You know, can we be a sponsor? So it's really good. The schools, the SGAs come on board. They're going to carry the banners this year. The culinary group, they're going to have cookies. The broadcast team that we're talking to today, y'all are going to live stream the event. We've got the ambassadors who are going to hand out the city ornament. So it's just become a huge thing for the schools too. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Good.
Yeah, you know, And the unique thing about this, there's not a playbook. You know, it's not like we were able just to sit down and go, oh, well, we'll do it like it's been done in the past. You know, with us, we had to invent everything.
Yeah, it was fresh.
We took this from a concept to a reality. And I mean, everything from the route of the parade, and you even just thinking about that, the logistics of that, of how we're going to do it, how they're going to divert traffic, how we're going to let people stand, how are we going to keep it safe, which is paramount in this day and age that we live in. And while doing all that, how are we going to make it fun? And so, which was our ultimate goal. And how are we going to make it family friendly? How are we going to make it easy to get in and out of? And so when you start putting all those elements together, you take something that you would think would be pretty simple to have a parade, and it becomes very complicated. And then you mix in the floats. Last year we had 40 floats. This year we went to 55 floats.
Oh, wow.
So last year, being the kind of the inaugural and the proving ground, we were able to see that we could do a little bit more floats than we had done last year, and so and just having just like the band, having them involved. One thing, like last year we had nobody walking the parade except for our band. The other thing that I think is very important is last year, coming off of COVID and it being the inaugural year of the parade, is we focused everything in our parade on Pelham. Well, that's very odd for a Christmas parade, especially in our community.
Yeah.
That and having it at night. And so those things make us very unique. We wanted it at night so you could enjoy the lights and enjoy the festivity of the Christmas part of it, but then we also wanted us to have the focus being on our community and on what Christmas is all about.
Yeah.
And so that's really what we tried to pull together. But it is a lot of work.
And those are some little details that us spectators don't always get to see, like the safety that goes into it. But I hear y'all talk about the passion and the passion that you have for Pelham. Where did you get this passion, or what about the parade makes you want to continue?
Boy, I think that I think it's easy to live in a community, but it's hard to make a community your home. And there's a difference, to be vested. The thing, just like with Pelham Strong, our nonprofit, the thing that's very unique about it is everything that we do with Pelham Strong and all the money that's brought into Pelham Strong through businesses that sponsor and the city's involvement and everyone else's involvement, it all goes to help our community. And so that's what makes it what it is. We don't get paid anything to be on Pelham Strong. We get zero. No one does. And so everybody volunteers their time. And I think that that speaks in itself for what makes Pelham the community that it is. We're very unique here. People that grow up here, and you guys know this you have a lot of pride. Pride's instilled in you here at the school. It's instilled in you in the community, and our city has instilled that. And so what we want to do is just take that to the next level and give it a focus for us to all be able to come together as one.
Yeah. Which is awesome. Do you have anything to add to that specifically?
The driving factor is just to bring everyone together like we're here today, and it's all about decisions. I told the city council Monday night that on average we make 35,000 decisions a day. And
oh, goodness.
And I made one decision to run for city council that led to meeting him, that led to us sitting here. If I didn't make that one decision, we wouldn't be sitting here today. So my challenge to everyone is to consider the choices and decisions that you have on a daily basis. You see a mom carrying a toddler trying to get her groceries in the car, and you're like, what should I do? Well, go up and help her put the groceries in the car and make a difference, because that might keep her from maybe getting upset with that child later that evening because you just lighten her day up. So it's all about decisions, making the right decisions, doing the right thing. Our motto is to do right. And in decisions, if you try to consciously do what's right, then I think you will forward this world into a different place than it is today. So,
Gotcha. I really like how you touched on that, and that inspired me to ask, if you were able to tell the entire Pelham community one thing, in a concise manner, what would it be?
For me, it would be do right. Just do right by your neighbor, do right by your friends, do right by your high school friends. You see somebody getting picked on or whatever, do the right thing, step up for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, and I'll to echo off of that is to pay it forward and pay it back. You know, look back on people whose life, who touched your life, and on people who you have the opportunity to touch. And it's easy to be busy and not have enough time, and or too much going on, or it's not important. But it's the times that you help someone and that you do something out of the way just because it's the right thing to do. And the feeling that you get from that, you know, it's the feeling of giving. It's easy to receive, you know, it's hard to give. And so, you know, I can tell you, when you get all gray-headed, when you get all gray, you look back on life, and honestly, it's all about minimizing regrets. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, when you're young, you got life by the tail. But as you get older, you look back and you go, you know, honestly, it's about the people I've touched and the positive impact I had on life and the difference I made in people. And that's really what we have done with Pelham Strong, is we've taken this as an opportunity to leave a legacy to go on for years and years and years of something that we're extremely proud of because we did it the right way and we did what was right.
Well, it's comforting and it's really nice for the entire Pelham community and our school systems and all the clubs and businesses here to know that they're taken care of and that they're cared for. Is there anything else that y'all would like to add specifically about the parade before we wrap up?
I would just encourage everybody, December the 10th, which is Saturday, come out. Parade starts at 5. We got all types of festivities. We're going to do about a 10-15 minute tree lighting ceremony after it's over with, and then we're going to have free ice skating. So the city's opening up the whole ice skate complex. We're going to have all type of festivities. And I always, when we started this, and the very first time we ever met with an advisory board that Chad and I had assembled, I told them, challenge. I said, the challenge is this: I want everything we do to be through the eyes of a 10-year-old. So I want you to enjoy this. I want this to be fun. I want it to be exciting. I want everything we do, this isn't about it grown-ups. Mm-hmm. You know, Pelham had a tree lighting ceremony for years, and as great as it was, and it was good, but we totally revamped that. We included that into the Christmas parade, and because over a period of time, when you get a bunch of adults involved, it becomes an adult event. Yeah. And so we intentionally have worked very, very hard. I mean, even to the point where our advisory board has high school students on it. And that's the check. So we want to check and balance to make sure that we're focusing in the right direction. And so it is all about family. And so if you want to come out and have something that's a great family event that you can repeat every year, and it's something that's memorable, so you can look back on life and go, hey, I remember when we used to all go to the Christmas parade. And it was great and wonderful. And that's what this is all about your family.
Good. Well,
and to piggyback off of Rick real quick, Aspen, we're opening up Sponsor Row this year to open up about 3 o'clock to encourage people to come a little earlier. But for something that'll be of interest to you guys is we're doing a photo booth this year, an interactive photo booth that it communicates with Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. And so you can go up, you can take your picture, you can pick a background, you can do photo props, you can get in there with multiple people. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So that'll be set up on Sponsor Row and face painting, and there'll be, I think, 16 businesses with the city departments set up there. We'll have some football toss set up and some cornhole. So highly encourage folks to go out and see these sponsors that sponsored the event and have some fun on Sponsor Row right there at the Civic Complex.
Yay, well, thank y'all so much. It's all inclusive, so everybody can bring out their entire family. We appreciate you guys coming out. Like I said, it's really nice to have, you know, some good guys behind our Pelham community. But I'm Aspen Godette with PHS Productions, and I'm joined here with City Councilman Mr. Rick Walsh and Mr. Chad Leverett. And remember to come out to the parade this Saturday. Thank you.